Hi guys, this is Dhananjay here, and I happen to be the CEO of Moksha. Today we have all so many students on this webinar, and we are going to talk about what could be a career or what could be actually a global career which you could build for yourself. Yeah, if you are looking for something like commerce or finance or the accounting and that sort. So guys, it's going to be a very short webinar. I will take it up for 30 minutes and I'm going to explain you basically what this is all about. How could you probably build your global career? कैसे कोई लोग बहुत आगे चले जाते हैं लाइफ में, कोई लोग नॉर्मल लाइफ जीते हैं और कोई पीछे चले जाते हैं, क्या फर्क रहता है वो। अगर आप 18 साल की उम्र में if you are moving forward and taking your first step into your career, okay, educational career on the higher education side, if you know about it right from the beginning, you will take proper steps so that you are building it at the right time. ठीक है, एक इसके ऊपर हम करीब करीब आधा घंटा बात करेंगे। और सेकेंडली हमने एक गेस्ट को बुलाया है, जो गेस्ट दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी कंपनी में वाइस प्रेसिडेंट लेवल पे बहुत ही यंग एज पे पहुंच गए हैं। तो ये भी कॉमर्स, फाइनेंस और अकाउंटिंग के साइड से बने हैं। तो इनके साथ में एक छोटा सा टॉक शो रखा है हाफ एन आवर का, सो दैट यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड, गेट मोटिवेटेड एंड पीप थ्रू हिज लाइफ टाइम कि भाई कैसे उनकी स्टोरी बढ़ी, वैसे अपनी भी करियर बढ़ा सकते हैं। करेक्ट है? सो गाइस, थोड़ा बहुत पहले कंसेप्ट समझना पड़ेगा हमको कि ये करियर का प्लानिंग, जो ग्लोबल करियर का प्लानिंग होता है, वो कैसे होता है, क्यों जरूरी है, एंड व्हाट आर वी गोइंग टू डू। दैट्स द वे वी कम्युनिकेट। What is Moksha? Basically, Moksha has offices in 35 cities. Okay? We are majorly, it's an education group actually, and focusing on three different things. Okay? One is mobility, where we place students abroad in various countries. Second is academy, we teach students online, okay, for various programs. So today we are going to talk about Moksha Academy programs, which are there to create a global career for every student who is in accounts, finance, and business programs. We also have Moksha Travels, in which we take students for various tours during their vacations for a short-term exposure programs, cultural exchange programs, and all those things. So ये तीनों अलग अलग divisions हैं। ये प्रोडक्ट्स ऑलमोस्ट हर सिटी में अवेलेबल है इंडिया की। ठीक है ना? सो दैट्स हाउ 2012 से 2020 आ गया। 8 साल हो गए मोक्ष को, बड़ा होते गया। ठीक है ना? And today we have grown to 3 overseas offices and 35 centers across the country, and huge number of students being sent abroad, and thousands of students online being taught. Okay, so let's say concept मैं समझाता हूँ, ठीक है? और आपको आज के गेस्ट हैं जो मिस्टर जुगल करके हैं, जो दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी कंपनी में काम कर रहे हैं, E&Y में। उनका जो एक्सपीरियंस टॉक शो है वो यहाँ पे 8:30 से 9, सो 1 घंटा लगेगा। अगर आप इस कोई भी सीरियस हो अपने करियर के लिए, तो डेफिनेटली ये सेशन आपको काम करेगा। ओके गाइस, दिस इज माई सेल्फ एंड लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड। आई हैव एग्जैक्टली 27 मिनट्स लेफ्ट फॉर दिस सेशन एंड लेट्स गेट फोकस्ड ऑन दिस। क्या है ये सेशन में क्या समझाना चाहूंगा? बॉस, अगर यूनिक नहीं हो तो क्राउड में गुम हो जाओगे आप। ओके, नॉर्मल बहुत लोग होते हैं, यूनिक कम होते हैं, तभी उसको यूनिक बोलते हैं। करेक्ट है? अगर आपको कोई स्पेशल लाइफ में अचीवमेंट्स करनी हो तो आपको कुछ ना कुछ यूनिक करना पड़ेगा। ठीक है? जैसे मैंने बताया, ये क्राउड है, इससे अलग आपका जो सीवी है। लेट अस टॉक अबाउट योर प्रोफेशनल करियर। प्रोफेशनल करियर में आपका जो सीवी होता है वही एक बताता है कि भाई आप क्या हो। आप नॉर्मल हो, आप यूनिक हो। यूनिक हो तो कैसे यूनिक बने, कौन सी चीज में है, क्यों आप दूसरों से अलग हो, क्या आप में एक स्पेशल स्किल्स है, आपने वो स्किल्स किसके लिए डेवलप की है, और वो स्किल्स का इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है। तो धीरे धीरे आपको समझ में आएगा। देयर आर टू मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स इन योर लाइफ विच यू आर, अभी आप 18 साल में हो, कॉमर्स में होंगे, फाइनेंस में होंगे, अलग अलग स्ट्रीम्स में सारे बच्चे हैं जो सुन रहे हैं मुझे। उनको दो चीजों का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट समझना पड़ेगा। एक है पैशन लाइफ में, और दूसरा है सीवी। आपके करियर के अंदर ये दोनों चीज सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट बन जाएंगे इन वेरी शॉर्ट पीरियड। ओके, सो गाइस, ये पैशन है वो हर आदमी का अलग होता है। ये दुनिया में हजारों लोग आपकी क्लास के अंदर 50-100 लोग होंगे, हर एक का पैशन अलग होगा. इट मीन्स दैट एवरीबडी इज मेड टू डू समथिंग डिफरेंट, समथिंग स्पेशल. बट व्हाट हैपेंस इज एवरीबडी मूव्स एंड थिंक्स ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर वे कि मैं बीकॉम करूंगा या मैं बीएएफ करूंगा, फिर मैं इंटरव्यू दूंगा और फिर मैं नौकरी करूंगा और फिर मैं ये करूंगा वो. एक स्टैंडर्ड प्लान रहता है सबके दिमाग में. आप न तो अपना पैशन ढूंढते हो और न तो अपना यूनिक सीवी तैयार करने में ये जो अगले 3 साल आपके सामने हैं उसको अगर यूनिक सीवी बनाने में निकालो तो आपका कंप्लीट जो लाइफ का प्लानिंग है वो पूरा बदल जाएगा. आपका जो पर्सपेक्टिव है वो बदल जाएगा. अगर आपको ये थॉट प्रोसेस टू बी डिफरेंट, टू बी यूनिक, टू बी स्पेशल, टू बी डूइंग समथिंग एक्स्ट्रा, अगले 3 साल में अगर ये थॉट प्रोसेस आपको अपील कर रहा है तो ये वेबिनार आपको सेंसफुल लगेगा. अगर आपको ये लग रहा है कि सर पूरी दुनिया बीकॉम बनती है, मैं भी बीकॉम बनूंगा, आगे देखेंगे क्या होता है, एमबीए बन जाऊंगा, जॉब ढूंढ लूंगा, बिजनेस कर लूंगा, ये बंद कर लूंगा, उससे बाहर आते हैं थोड़ा सा. क्या मुझे अच्छा लगता है, कौन सी चीज मेरे लिए सूटेबल है, और वो अगर करने मिले तो व्हाट एम आई गोइंग टू डू एज अ स्पेशल स्किल्स. गाइस, मैं आपको एक सिंपल ऑप्शन देता हूं. आपके पास ऑप्शन है कि आप एक कॉलेज जाते हो, नॉर्मल थियरी, वो बड़े बड़े बुक्स होते हैं कॉलेज में, कॉमर्स के बुक्स में इकोनॉमिक्स होगा, ये होगा, वो होगा, अकाउंटिंग होगा, फाइनेंस होगा, बिजनेस फंडामेंटल्स होंगे. आपने हर एक बच्चे का अलग अलग सब्जेक्ट्स आप लोगों ने ले लिया. अब आपको वो थियरी लेक्चर्स होते हैं तो सबको पता है कि मैक्सिमम स्टूडेंट्स कहाँ दिखने वाले हैं, कैंटीन. और क्यों? क्योंकि ये लेक्चर सुनने के लिए मैं नहीं बड़ा हुआ हूँ, मैं कुछ बनने के लिए बना हूँ. मुझे एकेडमिशियन सिर्फ आके लेक्चर्स थियरी सिखाएंगे वो इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं है, इनफ नहीं है. उसके साथ में मुझे इंडस्ट्री के लिए प्रिपेयर होना है. मुझे इंडस्ट्री के अंदर क्या मेरी रिक्वायरमेंट है, मैं क्या क्या, what are those things which I can deliver to that, and what are the readiness that I am supposed to become. अगले 3 साल आप दो रास्ते ले सकते हो. एक, कुछ भी ना करो, नॉर्मल रूटीन लो, बैचलर बन जाओ, नौकरी ढूंढो, 12-14 हजार की क्लरिकल जॉब देख लो. दूसरा, स्पेशल स्किल्स जमा करो, इंडस्ट्री से कनेक्ट होना चालू करो, इंटर्नशिप करो, स्पेशल प्रोग्राम्स लो, इंडस्ट्री जो आपका पैशन है वो ऐसी वाली इंडस्ट्री ढूंढो. ऐसे करते करते मेरे पास 100 चीजें हैं जो कर सकते हो आप दूसरे रास्ते पे. आई वॉन्ट टू आस्क यू, कौन सा रास्ता आपको पसंद है? क्या आपको एक थियरी पढ़नी है, या आपको लगता है सिर्फ प्रैक्टिकल सीखना चाहिए, या आपको लगता है कि यार दोनों होना चाहिए? व्हाट डू यू थिंक? आपके स्क्रीन के ऊपर मैंने लॉन्च किया है एक छोटा सा सवाल. ये सवाल के जवाब आप दे सकते हो. धीरे धीरे आपको समझ में आएगा कि ये जवाब आपको खुद को समझने के लिए बनाए गए हैं. मुझे उसमें कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है आज की तारीख में. बट व्हेन यू आंसर देम, you will slowly realize that now my mind is opening up towards something that is required to be done. Correct? See, 16% से सर मैं बुकिश आदमी हूँ, फर्स्ट बेंचर हूँ, मुझे बुक्स चाहिए, उसी से सीखूंगा, लेक्चर्स आएंगे, प्रोफेसर आएंगे, मैं उन्हीं से सीख लूंगा तो मैं रेडी हो जाऊंगा, रेडी हो जाऊंगा इंडस्ट्री के लिए. 11% बोलते हैं सर मैं सिर्फ प्रैक्टिकल सीखूंगा, मुझे थियोरी का इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है, मैं तो डिग्री नाम के वास्ते लूंगा, सीधा ज्वाइन करने वाला हूँ कोई कंपनी को. 53% बोलते हैं सर डिग्री भी जरूरी है और स्किल्स भी जरूरी है इंडस्ट्री रेडीनेस करने के लिए. न तो सिर्फ डिग्री इनफ है, न तो सिर्फ स्किल्स इनफ है प्रैक्टिकल. और 21% बच्चे बोल रहे हैं सर मेरी करियर को बनाने के लिए मुझे हेल्प चाहिए, मैं क्लियर नहीं हूं मेरे लिए क्या अच्छा है, मेरे में क्या स्ट्रेंथ्स हैं, मेरे में क्या वीकनेसेस हैं, मेरे क्या पैशन है, मुझे आगे इंडस्ट्री रेडीनेस बनने करने के लिए मेरी जो स्ट्रेंथ्स है उसको कैसे, हाउ वुड आई यूटिलाइज दीज स्ट्रेंथ्स so that I become industry readiness? I don't know. I need help for that. I need career planning. I need clarity about myself as well as the industry, that what are the skills that the industry needs, जिसमें theory ना हो, उसमें practical aspect हो, जिसमें मेरे passions की भी गिनती हो, जिसमें मेरी कैपेबिलिटी की भी गिनती हो, जिसमें मेरे बैकग्राउंड की भी गिनती हो कि भाई ये डिग्री कर रहा हूं मैं तो आगे का करियर का रोड मैप मेरा बनाना है, प्लान करनी है और कौन सी स्किल्स आनी है, ये अगले 3 साल में 12th से लेके बैचलर तक आप जब भी बनोगे, बेस्ट टाइम है ये 3 साल का है। यार पार्टी वार्टी करो वो बात अलग है, नए कॉलेज में जाओगे, नए फ्रेंड्स बनाओगे, नई लाइफ जियोगे, वीकेंड्स मजा करोगे, पार्टी करोगे, वो सब करना है। बट ये जो जर्नी है, ये 3 साल आपके लाइफ के सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट साल भी हो सकते हैं। जो आप अभी कर सकते हो वो करना भी चाहिए इसके साथ में, जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ करियर। नॉट कि मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि अभी आपको 50% आ रहे हैं तो 70 लाओ, अरे जरूरत नहीं है यार, परसेंटेज नोबडी आस्क्स। जब आप बैचलर बनोगे, जब आप इंडस्ट्री में जाओगे और कुछ सब सीवी बनाओगे, अपना रेज्यूमे बनाओगे, बोलोगे कि हाँ मेरे को 90% हूँ पर मेरे पास कोई स्किल नहीं है, और दूसरा बच्चा जाएगा बोलेगा 50% है, मुझे पढ़ाई में मैं वीक हूँ, बट यार मैंने है ना एक कोर्स किया हुआ है, उसमें है ना रिस्क मैनेजमेंट कैसे होती है वो मुझे समझाया गया था, या मैंने कोर्स किया है कमोडिटी जो ट्रेड ट्रेड होता है जो एक्सचेंज के ऊपर, उसका कैसे प्ले होता है वो पूरा कोर्स मैंने किया हुआ है। या कोई अकाउंटेंट में बोलेगा टैली सीखा हुआ है मैंने, कोई बोलेगा मैं फाइनेंस में मैंने, वो कोई बोलेगा सीएफए किया हुआ है, कोई बोलेगा सीए की एग्जाम दे रहा हूँ। ये एडिशनल स्किल्स है सर। आपके लाइफ में आपको सुटेबल कौन सी स्किल्स होती है वो आप खुद भी जान सकते हो। जिसको मतलब एकदम ही आर्टिस्ट हो उसकी बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, बट दोज हु आर लुकिंग, हु आर करंटली स्टडिंग इन द कॉमर्स स्ट्रीम, there are huge number of people, huge number of students who actually, you know, they are not having any clarity about their career, they do not know, so they think पूरी दुनिया जो करती है वो मुझे करना है सर, मेरे लिए बीबीए करूंगा फिर एमबीए करूंगा, बीकॉम करूंगा, फिर ये सारे इतने सारे ऑप्शंस हैं, देखो मैं ये कर लूंगा, सीएस का फाउंडेशन दूंगा, सीपीटी एग्जाम दूंगा। गाइस, these are standard routes. Do you want to be 98% standard routes where it is completely filled with all the competitions? आप ये करोगे, आप बीकॉम करोगे, आप काम ढूंढोगे, आपको 12,000 का सैलरी मिलेगा, पर इसी 3 साल में स्किल्स करोगे, ये 12,000 का 30,000 बना सकते हो। गाइस, अगर आप आगे जाके एमबीए करना चाहोगे तो आपको आरओआई ढूंढना पड़ेगा, कौन सी कॉलेज में करोगे, 10 से 20 लाख रुपया और खर्चा करोगे, कितने का जॉब एनहांसमेंट होगा, या मैं इसी 3 साल में मैं स्किल्स जमा करूं, मुझे जॉब भी इजी मिलेगा, मैं दूसरों से अलग भी रहूंगा, मेरा सीवी बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बन जाएगा, इंडस्ट्री रेडीनेस होगा, और जो लोग मेरे में ढूंढ रहे हैं इंटरव्यू देते समय, तो मेरे में मैं ऑलरेडी डाल चुका हूं ड्यूरिंग माय फर्स्ट 3 इयर्स ऑफ माय बैचलर। हाउ कैन वी डिसाइड दैट, मतलब ऐसा है कि यही प्रोग्राम है, मैं वही बता रहा हूँ, एक आईफेफ करके प्रोग्राम है, उसमें पहले साल में हम लोग अलग अलग चीजें बच्चों को बताते हैं कि एक जॉब क्या होता है, क्या क्या जॉब के रोल्स होते हैं, आप में उस रोल को पाने के लिए क्या क्या स्किल्स चाहिए, ताकि पूरी दुनिया भले आपके साथ में कॉम्पीट करती रहे, बट आपको इंडस्ट्री लिफ्ट कर लेती है, क्योंकि एक पर्टिकुलर स्किल आपने डेवलप कर ली है विच इज सूटिंग विद दैट पर्टिकुलर जॉब। आयुष जायसवाल, ये अभी भी आप लोग डिग्री के ऊपर टिके हुए हो सर, बीबीए करूं या बीकॉम करूं, अभी भी डिग्री की ही बात कर रहे हो आयुष, मैं कुछ बात ही अलग कर रहा हूं, आप सुनो, आप पढ़ो स्क्रीन को अपने, अपना सिर्फ अभी कितना 15 मिनट बाकी है एग्जैक्टली, तो उसके बाद में मैं कभी नहीं मिलने वाला हूं आपको, आपकी करियर बहुत आगे है, आपको ये जो गैप है ना थियरी और प्रैक्टिकल, ये जो डिग्री जो लेने की है और इंडस्ट्री की जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, उसमें आसमान जमीन का फर्क है, तो ये जो गैप है उसको फिल करना है एट यूजी लेवल, अंडर ग्रेजुएट लेवल पे। अगर आप ये बोलोगे कि मैं सर फिर तो पीजी लेवल पे मैं कर लूंगा, या समझ लो आपको कुछ भी बनना है, आपको सीएफए करना है, या आपको यही बता रहे थे ना सॉम, ट्रेडिंग, कमोडिटीज, इक्विटी रिसर्च, पोर्टफोलियो मैनेजमेंट, तो आपके पास 4 तरीके के एम्प्लॉयर्स हैं इंडिया के अंदर या पूरे दुनिया के अंदर, ठीक है। एक है बैंक्स, एक है कॉर्पोरेट कंपनीज, एक है इंस्टीट्यूशंस, और एक है अकाउंटिंग फर्म्स। आज हमने जो गेस्ट को बुलाया है वो दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी अकाउंटिंग फर्म है, और वाइस प्रेसिडेंट उस अकाउंटिंग फर्म का। आप सिर्फ आपसे बात करना के लिए हमने स्पेशल गेस्ट हैं, वो ये ड्यू डिलीजेंस के मास्टर हैं। तो आज आप इसके बारे में जरूर सीख सकते हो कि उनकी लाइफ में ड्यू डिलीजेंस में मास्टरी करने तक उन्होंने क्या क्या, कैसे राइज हुआ लाइफ, क्या क्या उनके बैकग्राउंड थे, क्या क्वालिफिकेशंस लिए, क्या एजुकेशन लिया, किस एज में कहां तक पहुंचे और इतनी यंग एज में इतना बड़ा सैलरी कैसे निकाल लिया। Guys, every week in our program, in our first year of a program during UG, such people come on a weekly basis and they showcase to you, मैं CFO हूँ, मैं ऑडिटर हूँ, मैं ड्यू डिलीजेंस संभालता हूँ, मेरा ये लाइफ है, मेरा आपको अगर ये बनना है तो आप में ये ट्रेड्स चाहिए, जार्गन ये होता है, इसमें कैपेबिलिटीज, आपका पैशन होना चाहिए, इसका ये होना, सब कुछ अगर आपको पहले से समझ में आता हो तो गाइस कितना इजी होगा। क्योंकि आपके पास थियरी, जो बोलते थे ना, बुक्स पढ़ के मैं डिसाइड करूंगा कि मेरी लाइफ में आगे इंडस्ट्री कैसी होगी, नहीं होने वाला, टाइम गया वो। डिग्रीज डोंट मैटर मच, स्किल्स डू। अब ये अगले 3 साल में हम चाहे दुनिया भर की पार्टी करेंगे, ट्रैवल करेंगे, फ्रेंड्स बनाएंगे, मजे करेंगे, बट साथ में अपनी करियर का प्लानिंग और एग्जीक्यूशन भी करना है। क्योंकि ये 3 साल वापस नहीं आएंगे। यू विल फील लेजी, क्योंकि यू विल फील गुड, यू विल फील लाइक एंजॉइंग, यू विल नॉट फील लाइक स्टडिंग, यू विल नॉट फील लाइक सीरियस अबाउट योर करियर। इट्स नॉट द टाइम टू बी सीरियस फॉर एनीबॉडी। दैट इज द माइंडसेट इन इंडिया। कॉलेज नहीं जाना, जाके फ्रेंड्स के साथ में बैठना, कैंटीन में, नो प्रॉब्लम। साथ में एक एक चीज को समझो, आगे लाइफ में क्या आने वाला है, और एक एक आदमी की लाइफ को समझो। दैट इज व्हाट आवर प्रोग्राम इज। मोक्ष हैज मेड अ प्रोग्राम कॉल्ड आईफेफ। इसमें 2 चीजें समझने में आती है आपको, ठीक है? ऐसी क्या 2 चीजें हैं? एक, आपका पैशन, जो हम साइकोमेट्रिक टेस्ट और बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशंस और उसके बेसिस के ऊपर आपका पैशन को फाइनल करते हैं। दूसरा, इंडस्ट्री का रिक्वायरमेंट, जो एक एक इंडस्ट्री में एक एक जॉब रोल्स बना के आते हैं, वो आपसे लाइव इंटरेक्ट करेंगे और आपको समझाएंगे। 1 साल तक यही चलता रहेगा। आप बोलोगे सर ये गजब का प्रोग्राम है, इसमें कुछ सिखाते ही नहीं है आप लोग तो। इतने सारे स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं उनको सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है करियर में प्लानिंग नहीं, खुद का इंक्लिनेशन कहाँ है वो पता नहीं है, खुद का पैशन क्या है वो पता नहीं है, खुद क्या करना चाहेंगे वो पता नहीं है। आपको पता है? बताओ, क्या लग रहा है आपको? वेयर डू यू स्टैंड? ये जो आपके स्क्रीन पे बच्चा बैठा है उसको तो नहीं पता है, आपको क्या लग रहा है? अगर हमारे हर करियर के स्टेप्स पहले से पता हो तो हम अच्छी तरह उसको प्लान कर सकते हैं। वंस वी कैन प्लान, देन वी कैन एग्जीक्यूट इट ऑल्सो इन अ वेरी गुड वे, और एक क्लैरिटी के साथ में हमारी एंड रिजल्ट को टारगेट करना बहुत इजी हो जाएगा। अगर हमको न तो हमारी स्ट्रेंथ पता है और न तो इंडस्ट्री की रिक्वायरमेंट पता है, जब तक ये दोनों के बीच का गैप नहीं फुलफिल होगा, हम किस चीज के लिए तैयार हो रहे हैं यार? अंडर ग्रेजुएट बनने के लिए, सिर्फ डिग्री लेने के लिए? डिग्री हमको क्लर्क बनाएगा, स्किल हमको सीईओ बना सकता है, ठीक है? मैं भी सीईओ हूं अपनी कंपनी का। So guys, this is out of experience I am telling you. I'm closing this. 67% of the students say I really need help to design my career. 18% say I know my career, I know my passion, but I don't know how to reach. मुझे रास्ता नहीं पता, पैशन पता है। 9% से सर मुझे सब कुछ पता है लाइफ का क्या होने वाला है, मेरी लाइफ में मेरे को भी अच्छी तरह जानता हूँ, मैं दुनिया को भी अच्छी तरह जानता हूँ। और 6% बोलते हैं सर ये मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता, आपकी बातें ही नहीं समझ में आती। चलो 6% का हेल्प नहीं कर सकता मैं। 67% गाइस, यू आर गुड दैट यू आर ऑनेस्ट इनफ टू टेल दैट यू नीड हेल्प टू। ये आइडिया ही नहीं है, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, इंडिया में करियर को एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज नहीं मानी जाती, क्योंकि सब कुछ स्टैंडर्डाइज किया जाता है अपने दिमाग के अंदर। क्या है, 10वीं में है ऐसा कर, मार्क्स नहीं आया कॉमर्स में चला जा, तो टाइम पास वाला बच्चा है, 12वीं तक कर, और 12वीं में कॉमर्स कर और उसके बाद में निकल लेना, बीकॉम कर ले, ये कर ले, सीए का पढ़ाई कर लेना, पास हो गया तो ठीक है, 10% पासिंग रेशियो होता है, बाकी के 90% में आ गया, चलो ठीक है आगे जाके एमबीए देख लेंगे। एक कैजुअल अप्रोच है अपनी लाइफ का फाउंडेशन बनाने का। मोक्ष के अंदर उस चीज को बहुत सीरियसली लिया जाता है। आईफेफ जो प्रोग्राम है इंटरनेशनल फाउंडेशन फॉर अकाउंटिंग एंड फाइनेंस। ये कंप्लीटली 3 इयर्स का ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम है, ठीक है। और ये प्रोग्राम में बच्चे के पैशन के साथ में ग्लोबल अपॉर्चुनिटीज को मिक्स किया जाता है, आप में स्किल्स बनाए जाते हैं। तो बेसिकली ये जो कंसेप्ट है वो पैरेलल एजुकेशन का है। जब आप कन्वेंशनल डिग्री कोर्सेज करते हो, बीबीए करते हो, बीकॉम करते हो, जो आपको सही लगते हैं सब्जेक्ट वही पढ़ना है। एक बच्चे ने सवाल पूछा, सर बीकॉम करूं या बीबीए? गाइस, दोनों का सिलेबस देखो। जो ऐसे सब्जेक्ट्स देता है जो आपको पढ़ाई करने को मजा नहीं आता, छोड़ दो उसको, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। अगर आपको सच में लाइफ में आगे आना है तो पैरेलली उसी 3 साल में इंडस्ट्री रेडी करने वाला 3 साल, और इंडस्ट्री कौन सी? लोकल नहीं, ग्लोबल इंडस्ट्री रेडीनेस का प्रोग्राम है, जो प्रैक्टिकल कोर्स है। आपको लाइव प्रोजेक्ट्स के साथ में, एक्चुअल कंपनीज के अंदर वर्चुअल इंटर्नशिप के साथ में, अगर आपको वो पूरा प्रोग्राम के लिए पीपिन मिले जो रेडी बनाए आपको, जब आपका यूजी खत्म होता है तो आपका सीवी, वो लाल मछली देखी थी ना, और बाकी लोगों का सीवी वो ब्लू मछलियां देखी थी बहुत सारी। तो ये जो एक एडिशनल कंपोनेंट है जो इंडस्ट्री वालों ने बनाया है, और आपको इसी में जो जंप देगा 3 साल में, आगे कुछ नहीं। आगे का पीजी में तो और करेंगे। तो गाइस, हम इस टाइम को यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं अगर हम सही टाइम पे ये सब स्किल्स को ऐड कर ले अपनी लाइफ में। ये सब मेहनत कौन करेगा? आप बोलोगे सर आप तो बहुत सीरियस आदमी हो, मुझे सब कुछ चाहिए बट मुझे स्किल के लिए मेहनत नहीं करनी, एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी बढ़ाने के लिए कुछ नहीं करना, मुझे एक प्रोफेशनल लुक चाहिए बट उसके लिए मेहनत नहीं करनी, मुझे ग्लोबल जाना है। मुझे यार, इंडिया में इतनी अपॉर्चुनिटी और खाने वाले कितने हैं, तो आपकी कोई कीमत नहीं रहती। हम क्या करेंगे, हम इसको अपॉर्चुनिटी को ही बड़ा कर देंगे और इतने खाने वाले रहेंगे नहीं। वैसी स्किल्स आपके सीवी के अंदर डालना चाहिए। So automatically when you go global, your opportunities grow very wide. छोटी जगह, छोटा दिमाग, छोटी अपॉर्चुनिटीज और छोटे अचीवमेंट्स। थोड़ा एक्सपांड कर दो, अनकॉम्पिटिटिव बन जाओ, इररिलेवेंट कर दो बाकी के 98% को। जो आपके पास है वो उनके पास है ही नहीं, जो मांगो वो इंडस्ट्री देगी, इनको इंडस्ट्री बोलेगी, वो लेंगे ये लोग। I hope you are getting a very clear picture about what happens to 2% and what happens to 98%. Today we are going to talk about a very different concept and the course I want to showcase to you, which I did right now. And मेरे को इतना ही बताना है आप सभी लोगों को कि इतना इजी नहीं है जो आप सोच रहे हो कि मैं एक नॉर्मल कोर्स करके मैं आउटस्टैंडिंग बन जाऊं। वो नहीं होता। आपको आउटस्टैंडिंग कुछ करना पड़ेगा तो ही आप निकलोगे उसमें। एक चीज बताओ, आपको क्लैरिटी है? क्या आप अकाउंट्स वाले हो? क्या आप फाइनेंस वाले हो? आप रिस्क मैनेजमेंट के लिए अच्छे हो? या आपको ऐसा कुछ सिस्टम चाहिए कि जिसमें कोई हेल्प करे? आप किस में अच्छे हो और आपको क्या आगे बढ़ना है? अगर अकाउंट्स में अच्छे हो तो क्या आपको सीए बस है या आपको एसीसीए करना चाहिए? क्या आपको पता है एसीसीए करोगे तो ग्लोबली एक्लेम्ड होगा? क्या आपको पता है जो सक्सेस रेशियो एसीसीए में है वो काफी ज्यादा है कंपेयर टू सीए इन इंडिया? अपॉर्चुनिटी भी ज्यादा और सक्सेस रेशियो भी ज्यादा। इसको स्टेप बाय स्टेप आईएफएफ प्रोग्राम में 3 साल में आपको रेडी करते हैं। गाइस, इट्स अ वेरी सिंपल स्ट्रक्चर। 33% बोल रहे हैं सर आई एम डेफिनेटली एन अकाउंट्स पर्सन, no doubt about it. 17% says numbers, sir, numbers. I am a number crunching guy. I want to be in finance. 13% says, sir, gambling. रिस्क लेने को मजा आता है, लाइफ का एक्साइटमेंट थ्रिल ही वहां पे है। थोड़ा रिस्क लो, हारो जीतो सब चलेगा, बट मेरे को रिस्क मैनेजमेंट करना है। 38% से सर मेरे को पता नहीं है, मुझे जो भी करना है मुझे ऐसा कुछ करना है कि ताकि आई एंजॉय डूइंग इट, प्लस आई एम स्पेशल इन माय फील्ड। गाइस, दिस इज व्हाट वी डू। We are supporting very few people in India, selected people in India who are trying to become global by identifying their skills, their strengths, and matching with the industry skill requirements, preparing the students online for various global charters like CFA, like ACCA, like FRM, but किसको? सबको नहीं, पहले साल अलग, दूसरा साल अलग। आपका पूरा यूजी के अंदर पैरेलल एजुकेशन 1, 2 और 3, 3 साल में अलग अलग लोग चीजें सीखेंगे। पहले साल में आप अपने आप की स्ट्रेंथ जानोगे, जॉब रोल समझोगे, तो कई लोगों के साथ में बात करोगे। आज जैसे हमने एक बहुत ही स्पेशल मिस्टर जुगल को लेके आ रहे हैं, वैसे हमारे रेगुलर कोर्सेज चलते हैं। आपको इतना डीप इंसाइट मिल जाएगा कि इंडस्ट्री में चलता क्या है, इंडस्ट्री को चाहिए क्या मेरे से, मैं कैसे इंडस्ट्री में आगे आ सकता हूं, मैं अपना नाम कैसे बना सकता हूं। ये जो होता है सेकेंड ईयर से फाउंडेशन ईयर। एक बार आइडेंटिफाई हो गया आप अकाउंट्स के बंदे हो, तो आपका फाउंडेशन कोर्स चालू हो जाना चाहिए ग्लोबल अकाउंटिंग के लिए। ग्लोबल अकाउंटिंग के लिए, नॉट ओनली लोकल। आप एक बार चेक कर लो सीए का सक्सेस रेशियो और एसीसीए का सक्सेस रेशियो, एक्सेप्टेंस लेवल, सैलरी स्ट्रक्चर्स, कैसे ग्रोथ स्टोरी होती है अपने अपने लाइफ की। गाइस, यू विल slowly understand what I'm saying. Absolutely. Yes, Som, that's what we do. If you're focusing on stock exchange, we have a course where first year you don't need much because you're very sure about it. You can join in over here. The second course here, there's a very, very special course called commodity special. And in third, we have a course which is approved by NISM. You will get ready for all these things and directly get into the stock exchange and earn money. So, Som, there are a lot of things that Mox does, but at I think 1 minute, since the chief, our guest has joined in, I would say goodbye to all of you. I would say hi to Mr. Jugal, and I'm really happy that such a senior person is ready to, give their most important, valuable time on a Saturday evening to all of you students. So, guys, make the best out of it. This is not going to be small, okay? I have one question before Chiragji starts. Are you liking this whole concept? Very simple thing. If you can give me the feedbacks, it will be very interesting for me to understand where to improve. Yeah. Since Mr. Jugal has already joined in, I expect you to be very quick. 41% says very helpful, 44% says helpful for sure. I'll refer to my friends and these, it has changed it has changed your perspective. That's fantastic. 89% people I have helped. That's a good story for me to, chew on. Thank you guys. And please, Mr. Jugal, please carry on from here. Chiragji, please take it on from here. Thank you.
Sure. So I welcome Jugal, on the Moksha Academy platform. So let me quickly introduce, audience, Mr. Jugal. Jugal is a associate vice president in transaction diligence practice. He's a commerce graduate with CA. He has been a youngest member of ENY transaction diligence team. Prior to joining ENY, he was working with Deloitte, Haskin and Sells in assurance practices and Mumbai. And Jugal has worked on multiple due diligence for both private equity clients and strategic clients. He has worked on various transaction service engagements for leading corporate clients like Tata, Reliance, HUL, private equity funds like Blackstone, Goldman Sachs, and IDFC, and among others. So I welcome Jugal on behalf of the Moksha faculty team as well as the students. I would be with a warm welcome. We can start the Q&A session. So to the audience and Jugal, the way we would communicate initially, I will be asking few questions on behalf of the students, and then of course while we interact, students will have few questions which they would like to kind of ask you. So I can we start, Jugal?
Sure, sure. Thank you for such a nice introduction, Chirag.
Thanks.
And I'm
So
very
Jugal,
happy
let's
to join your platform.
yeah, thank you. So Jugal, let's begin the interaction today. A very obvious and the basic question, so there is, because majority of myself and my entire students or the faculty, we just want to understand, very basic thing. What exactly does due diligence mean in a very common, because most of us as a student or will be just completing grade 12th and are just entering first year of BCom. So what do you exactly mean in a common man language? What does due diligence actually mean?
So again, due diligence is kind of a very wide term. So there are legal due diligences, commercial due diligences, technical due diligences. So there are kind of a lot of streams under due diligences. What I focus is on financial due diligence. Now, from a work perspective, what I do is that generally in a transaction scenario, what happens is that a buyer is say buyer is looking to invest in certain company, right? So typically he would like to know that how the company has performed in say last 3-4 years in terms of their revenue growth, what is their business model, how are they kind of forecasting their future revenues, how where the profits or their EBITDA or gross margins look like in the historical period. So these are the things which we kind of dwell into in a typical financial due diligence project. So it's like to kind of provide a view on the asset or the company, that how the company is kind of doing operationally and financially in the last 2-3 years.
Understand in a very basic term, it's like you guys are kind of a doctor, via X-ray you kind of identify what exactly the financial health of the company, and whatever
Right.
are they claiming right, or I believe that is what exactly you mean. I hope I'm correct.
Correct. So again, there are
Yeah.
two kind of differences to it. One is that
Okay.
when you look at a company from a forensic or a fraud perspective, and the other part is you look at the company from a analytical perspective. So we don't cover, say, from a fraud perspective, if there is say there is an issue or there is some bit of kind of fraud in the company. But what we do is we kind of, from our analysis, we kind of present to the buyer or the potential buyer how the company has kind of performed in say last 2-3 years.
That
That's
is
a kind of
interesting.
a
So basically,
summarized.
that is
Sorry,
very
sorry,
interesting. So
Chirag, go
basically,
ahead.
what you mean is, you kind of strategy perspective. You kind of give a kind of view of an X company to a Y person who might be interested to maybe do business or buy that company or anything. But yeah, so it's more on the strategy side. That is interesting to know, Dugal. So let's talk about your story in terms of audience would want to know what is your career story. In fact, when did you decide you wish to do CA, and what is your journey? You've been the youngest team member of the ENY group and such a big four, globally acknowledged big four company. So how was your journey, and if you can quickly let us know that as well.
So Chirag, I think I started CA right after my class 12, during the time of doing my BCom graduation program. So then I always like numbers actually, and kind of analyzing the numbers. So that's why I think right after 12, I thought that CA might be the right career path for me. Honestly, see, I'll not lie, but there were certain confusions during my say educational career and even my professional career. So it's not a kind of a straight answer to you that yes, I was like 100% sure. And I believe that most of the students are never sure, or even after kind of graduating or qualifying as a CA, most of the people are still not sure that what they want to kind of do with their careers, right? So I think that I want to kind of give advice to everyone, that everyone has kind of a confusion that what they want to actually do in life. So there were confusions, but I started early CA because again, most of the people around me were also kind of my friends, and everyone was also doing CA. So that was also one of the major reasons that I started doing. But having said that, I like numbers from my schooling days also. So that was pretty much that led me to this. These two broad reasons led me to I think pursuing CA. Uh, Career-wise, I think I moved from Calcutta to Bombay to after qualifying CA, and I started with Deloitte. So I think there is no kind of straightforward answer that why did I choose Deloitte. It was like I got the job and I started with Deloitte. And then I'm a kind of a strong believer of destiny now. So I think I landed up Deloitte might not, and I started with audit practice in Deloitte. So I believe that audit was not the right profile for me. and the opportunity with EY just came along, and I didn't even search for that. So I think I lucked out, or that's why I think I am a strong believer of destiny. So then I think joined EY after 1.5 years with Deloitte, and I think then it has been a pretty much stable and a very growthful journey with EY.
Interesting. So, couple of points which I, definitely noted down. First, what you mentioned, everybody is confused. So it's not that if a student feels that I am confused, it's only happening with me. No, it happens with everyone. But second thing, what you mentioned is interesting. Is start early. Take your jump. You by default you learn how to swim, but unless you take that jump, take that plunge, it's difficult. And third thing, what you mentioned that don't be like be specific about choices. Just try. For example, you tried with an audit role, didn't work out, but meanwhile, something or other you figured it out. So it's all about starting early, and basically hustling. So that is very interesting to kind of know. Now, when you mention, Jugal, that you are a due diligence professional, so how is your day-to-day work? And let's say, do you work on targets? Do you work on weekends? How, like, it's only Monday to Friday, or maybe do you work late evenings? I mean, in the sense that how pressure, or how is exactly the role? What exactly do you do as a due diligence professional, maybe at a senior level in your case, or maybe a fresher who is going to join your team? What exactly is the role of a professional in due diligence?
So I think, Chirag, since the audience is largely students, and so then I kind of restrict my views on on what is the role when they join actually as a diligence professional.
Perfect.
Right. So I think when someone joins a firm as a diligence professional, what he is expected to do is, so one thing is clear, that I'll just give you an industry perspective also, that there are close to only 1,000 or 1,200 professionals across India, and I'm talking across all firms, all major firms. So there are only say 1,000 or 1,200 professionals in diligence. So again, and a basic requirement is that 95% of those professionals would be CS, right? So what is expected out of them is that to know accounting, right? Know accounting, that how accounts are made, basic accounting they should be knowing, right? Then what one expects as a job role when they start is that they should know how to analyze things. Okay, so suppose I'll give you one example, that the company sells three products, right? Three products: product A, product B, product C, right? Suddenly in FY 21, financial year 21, they stopped, say, selling product C. Okay, so then through your Excel analysis and through your understanding of the business, you should be able to highlight to the client that this product has been discontinued by the company, and this could be a kind of a issue point for you when you are kind of investing in this company. So these are the kind of things that you look out for. Just to give you one example, say there are 10-12 customers that the company caters to, and suddenly in last year, the top customer, there was some dispute with them, and that customer discontinued purchasing goods from that company, right? So then this is a major issue that the investor should know about, right? These are the things that you have to kind of pick up when you kind of start the diligence role. So it's largely analytical, analyzing numbers, analyzing understanding how the kind of business of the company runs. Typically, when you ask me that how is your work life and a typical day, so I think diligence role is very challenging, and every situation is, and every transaction is kind of different from each other. So there is no say a straight path of how to kind of proceed a transaction, right? Every transaction will have its own challenges and its own problems and its own issues. Okay, so your work life and the timing that you kind of give every day depends upon what project you are working upon, right? If the project is more challenging, it's more complex, then the number of hours increases. But to give you a broad number, Monday to Friday are like say 10 to 8-ish, right? And Saturday and Sunday generally it's off, but again it depends that what project are you working upon. But as you go along the firm, your the level of pressure and the challenge and the level of challenges that you face kind of increases, and your timing and the pressure of the profile also kind of increases. But having said that, I think as a CA, at least I can tell you that it's the most rewarding job that you can kind of get, and the growth that you get in this profile is like far higher than you can get in any other profile.
That is inspiring. That is inspiring to know. In terms of one thing I heard that there are only 1,000 professionals of due diligence across India. So students, it's a big opportunity. We are like a big population, lots of companies, but the professionals ultimately are less. So there I sense an opportunity if you kind of like numbers, as Jugal mentions. Next question for you, Jugal. What do you like about your job? I mean, what is that interesting part?
So Chirag, I think again, it's all to do with analysis and numbers, right? And as I mentioned earlier, like every situation and every transaction is different. So you don't get say bored, or it's not a monotonous kind of thing. So obviously, what you do remains similar, the objective remains similar, but the situations are like completely different every day. So, and again, it brings a lot of challenges, and the growth about the growth that the profile gives me is, I think, kind of drives me, and that is why I think I like my job.
So what I understand is
generally I can tell you that in our profile the attrition is also like very high. And I don't know whether people are aware about the term attrition. Is like basically number of people moving out on a year-on-year basis. So not many people can actually go ahead with this profile honestly, because again of the challenges that it brings to, but it has its own rewards also.
Interesting. So basically, the way you mentioned, I believe, when you say new projects, is the new, different sizes of companies, or maybe the new business models which you kind of understand in the process, which makes you, drive your, entire energies. That is interesting.
So I just kind of like to tell the audience and you also that in the first 2.5 years of my career with EY, I never repeated a sector. Okay, so I worked across retail, consumer, manufacturing, infra, real estate, port, airport. So then these are the things you kind of get to know, get a lot of knowledge about the industry as well, and also know the different kind of businesses also while doing diligences. So I think that is a very I think a good advantage of this file.
Absolutely, that is interesting statistics. 2.5 years, and every time, every day you're analyzing a new sector. So that is very interesting. Every project basically. Great. Right. So Jugal, you've already specified a lot of time analytical skills, numbers, but what other skill sets are required, in your field to be successful? When you say strategy point of view, because it's more of business and strategy involved. So what exactly are the skill set required in your field?
So I think almost all major skill sets are required, because say I give you one example that post I think 4 years of post I think 2-3 years, you will have to kind of present your analysis to your clients and all. Okay, so then your basically presentation skills and communication skills gets tested. When you are say initially when you have joined, then your overall analytical skills, your number skills kind of is important. Then your listening skills, you have to kind of listen and understand what the target CFOs, CEOs, or finance controllers are telling you about the business. During reviews, you have to be clear cut that what is your expectation, and when a senior is kind of communicating to you, you need to kind of understand what he's actually trying to tell. So listening skills, communication skills, presentation skills, your analytical skills, and the most important is, I think, at a junior level is your Excel skills. So without your Microsoft, you knowing Microsoft Excel or a Microsoft PowerPoint, this profile is like very kind of difficult to manage.
That is again a very good insight you've given. So students, that is exactly what we'll be focusing. Parallel to BCom, like so Jugal mentioned, you do a professional course. So he's done a CA, but smaller, these skill sets like in Excel or a PowerPoint, these things also matter, and also the soft skills which you mentioned. Your listening skills, your communication skills. So these can be definitely developed parallel to your BCom and a BBA. So if I may ask, Jugal, what are your high points in your career and some key projects which you can, of course, talk, on a public forum, basically. Yeah.
So, Chirag, I think what has been, so it has been a very kind of a rewarding journey for me. So once I joined EY, so I have got kind of 3 promotions till now, and all 3 were fast track basically. So if typically if a promotion happens in a 3-year period, I have been kind of promoted in a 2-year span. So every level, I think I moved a year and saved a year, and that's what was are kind of my high points. But that is kind of, I would like to tell the audience also that this was kind of incidental. The high points were obviously kind of identifying those critical issues which the investors want to know, like present very well your findings to them. So these are the things which you enjoy during the course of your journey. But obviously, that destination is that you get these promotions and rewards early, right? So when I say that it's that high point, but behind that are those small points which are actually like very fruitful and very, I think, rewarding.
So one thing what I am able to understand that if you actually are going to marry your passion, and if your job is not just a 9 to 5 kind of a feeling, but something which you really like, I mean, every day is a high point. I think that is what I'm able to infer from your interaction. So that is interesting. Now, of course, all the good things we talked now, of course, you already highlighted earlier, but still, what kind of challenges did you face in your career, maybe at any point of time, and how did you kind of overcome,
Right. So I think, see, I have managed a very, I think, big assignment. So there was one deal where Tata Group was involved, right? And that was a very kind of a time crunching and a time bound assignment. So I think in that deal, so we had to kind of work very hard and slog in a number of hours to kind of complete our assignment and present our findings to the overall Tata Group relevant persons. Okay, so again, there are challenges almost on a daily basis. It's up to you, like how you kind of overcome it and tackle it. So there's no, I think, a specific answer to this, Siddharth.
Perfect. Well, that's good to understand, identifying them and kind of overcoming them on a needs for sure basis.
Right,
Interesting.
right,
So, in terms of your, I mean, when somebody decides to become a due diligence professor, how much will be a demand of this particular profession, especially now with the COVID thing? A lot of parents and students are worried to pick up certain
Right.
careers, and they are not sure whether that career will have demand after COVID or not. So, what do you think about your profession and the demand post COVID in India globally? What do you feel?
So I like to kind of mention this, Chirag, that when I joined EY like 5.5 or 6 years back, the overall strength of the Bombay team was around 50 to 60 employees. Okay, and now we are close to 230 people in Bombay itself. Okay, So this is the growth that the diligence field has seen in the last 5 years. Okay. Coming to the perspective from an industry standpoint, now now the overall globe is looking at India very, I think, positively, and there has been a lot of investments from FDIs, foreign direct investments in India. So the number of deals and the number of transactions that has happened in the last 4 or 5 years has gone up tremendously, right? And it is like likely to go up ahead also in future also. Sorry. So I think from a demand perspective, I don't see any challenge in this profession. We are largely short of people generally. In the last 1 year, almost specifically before COVID, I think we had hiring across last 6 months. Okay, almost on a daily basis, some or the other manager was kind of taking an interview. So this is the kind of demand or requirement of a diligence professional as of now. From a COVID perspective, honestly, we were also not sure 3-4 months back that what would happen and how things would move out. But to our surprise, I think last 1 month has been like really busy. Again, a lot of investments has started coming up. People would be aware that Reliance has been kind of selling stake of Jio and Reliance Retail also now. So big players like Reliance are kind of getting into transaction mode, and in any of these big deals, diligence guys are involved for sure. So I think from a way forward perspective, also I think that there is no kind of issue or a concern from a demand perspective.
Interesting. So one thing I did understand that the industry grew almost 5 times, especially when you gave example of your team itself, and the fact that if India's story is positive, then definitely investment will be there, and if investment will be there, by default there will be demand of due diligence professionals. So
Correct.
that is good to know. So
And now
Jugal, one question which a lot of
the market has actually kind of now evolved, and now diligence is not kind of restricted only to say a big Reliance deal or a Tata deal or something like that. Now even if somebody has to say kind of provide a debt to a company, right, borrowing to a company, that debt investor also would want to know about the company and want to know how the company has been performing in last 2-3 years. And that's why I think now typically whenever an investment or a funding happens in a company, diligence professionals are generally involved 95% of the cases.
Right. Interesting. So Jugal, a lot of students in the comment also have mentioned. So, I mean, everybody knows that you are a CA. So in
Right.
your team or in a field of when you say due diligence, it's part of some business strategy. So is it that only CAs can be part of a due diligence team, or what other certifications like a CFA, FRM, and what kind of other program professionals can also be or are already part of your team other than just the CA? That is what they've been asking also. So I'll just clarify now.
So yeah, I think I'll answer that. So Chirag, I think what happens is that if you are not a CA and if you get into a diligence profile, it becomes very difficult for you to catch up. So we had tried this recently, that we started kind of hiring graduates so that they kind of know about diligence, how we go about it, right? So we started hiring graduates, but honestly, to what extent they can cope up with the pressure and all is like something to be kind of answered right now. So to kind of summarize and conclude, largely it will be CAs. We have also some MBAs in our practice, but honestly, I recommend that if you want to get into this profile, you should be a chartered accountant, I think. Otherwise, don't get into.
So due diligence, one of the kind of a important certification. What you recommend is a CA.
Right.
That is
Yeah.
good.
Again, I would like to highlight here is that I am talking from a financial due diligence perspective. Say when you go for a commercial due diligence, okay, then say a MBA or a MBA from top B schools would kind of suffice, right? But from a financial due diligence perspective, it's largely that I think it'll be good if you can if you do your CA and then join.
Correct. And so basically, there are lots of students listening to you today, and many of them will be listening to you on our YouTube channel as well. So, what advice would you have for future students, future aspirants, who wish to kind of join a corporate career? Maybe one of the options is due diligence, but otherwise, in terms of your transition from being a student to becoming a professional, what kind of advice do you want to give to students basically?
I think obviously you have to kind of believe in your abilities, right? First is your belief, and second is that drive and that motivation. Without that drive and motivation, I think any career would be, I think, very difficult. So I think that drive, that passion, and that belief is like very important in any career. From my profile perspective, I think I would like to tell that start early. If you are keen on, say, getting into CA, then start right after your schooling days. Even if you have not started, I'm not saying that it's a problem, but I think it's good to kind of start early, start your career. But again, CA is like, I just kind of touch upon that also. CA is also not a kind of a very straightforward or a very easy course. So once you kind of get into CA, you should have that determination and that commitment that even say if you are not able to kind of clear in a single attempt, you would kind of give your heart and soul and then try to clear in your second attempt, because it's a 4-year course, and after 4 years, if you think that final CA final papers are like too much for you, then you would kind of waste 4 years of your life straight away. So then that's why I think it's very important that you kind of decide that if you have to do CA, then stick to it and complete it, and then you can kind of choose if diligence is right profile for you or not.
Great. That is a good advice that, first do your own research. In fact, that's what we'll be helping the students also to, as you mentioned, that if you want to become a due diligence professionals, chartered accountants seems to be one of the very important criteria. And even otherwise, you emphasize on one thing that, yes, we can make mistakes and we do kind of, but then how do you navigate yourself is also equally important. So very interesting to know. So now I have few questions from the audience. So I will take up first question, which is from Prathamesh. He's asking, sir, I am planning to do BCom and along with it, I am doing CS and LLB. So can I be part of a due diligence team?
Yes, I think there is a legal due diligence thing also. So I think after pursuing your law career, you can kind of join because similarly to a financial, as the investor would be kind of keen to know what are the financial and the business issue of the company. From a transaction standpoint, they would also know legally what are the issues. Are there any license issues, or there are any issues that once you complete the transaction, there could be some litigation which can come up. So from that perspective, if someone is following LLB, then they can kind of join legal due diligence as well.
Interesting. We have a question.
And legal due diligence also similar to financial due diligence is kind of very challenging because on a daily basis, not on a daily basis, but depending upon on a project to project, I also kind of communicate to some of the law firms also during my project. So I think they also mentioned kind of the same thing, that it's again a bit challenging and it demands a lot of hours in legal diligence also. And that profile is also a bit more rewarding than the normal legal profile. A normal profile that LLB can go to.
Correct. So in fact, I have two questions which I will combine. One was from Divanshi and one is by Jagrati. So what I'm able to understand. So Jagrati is saying, sir, I am pursuing BBA. Can I consider due diligence? And Divanshi is saying, sir, have you done MBA? So I'll just reframe the question. Your core degree, whether it is BCom, BBA, will matter, or your CA will matter more for due diligence career?
So Chirag, I think, see, you can, there is an outside chance that with a BBA degree also you can kind of get into diligence. But again, as I mentioned, that it will be very hard for someone who has done just a BBA to kind of cope up with the demands of the profile. That's my
No,
only
not just,
observation.
I'll just rephrase it. Definitely that is what we are also stressing to the students.
Right.
What I meant was whether it is a BCom or a BBA, but parallelly, definitely you have to pick up a CA or a CFA or an FRM. Basically, a charter is compulsory, right? That's what I'm just trying to ask.
Yeah, acha, okay. So I think BCom, BBA, I think does not matter. I think if you are CA, then I think you are pretty much okay to kind of join diligence.
Exactly. That is what. So again, so does MBA also is a requirement, or again, if you are CA, it's more the enough?
No, it's from a diligence perspective, at least MBA is not a requirement, and I'm not a MBA.
Interesting. So what matters is the charter and the skill. I hope students, that is making sense for all of you. Great. So next question I have. Okay, Akshat is saying, sir, Jugal sir, you are CA, but is CA the only option to earn plenty good in a commerce field? So he's just saying, maybe not from your perspective, but then beyond CA, what is he trying to ask?
No, I think there are many courses. Like obviously, you can go for a MBA finance also. So if you do MBA from a good school, a good B school, then you can get into investment banking and a private equity profile also. MBA is there. CFA is also a very good course. So if you want to say, get into equity markets, derivative markets, then CFA is also a very recommended course. So it's not only CA. There are these few additional courses that you can kind of also go to. So I
Thank
think
you
these are the
very
top
much.
three. So,
Yeah.
so from my perspective, I think these are the three top courses that one can go to from when they are pursuing a commerce stream.
Thank you very much. Jugal, it has been very enlightening session, and I really appreciate you to take off time from your very busy schedule. In fact, I did one thing we realized from our conversation, you are definitely a numbers person, because you've thrown a lot of statistics when it comes to the team size, when it comes to the due diligence professionals. So yeah, very interesting for all of us to also interact. And
Yeah.
all right, so there's one last question. I think Bhumika now has typed one question. I have opted for BCom. Can I do a banking coaching? Bhumika, if you can rephrase, I'm not able to understand the question. She's mentioned I have opted for BCom. Can I do a banking coaching? When you say so, Bhumika, please understand a commercial bank and an investment bank, that is two different things. Okay, so we just basically what I'm understanding. What is the future of a career in banking? Any thoughts on that, Jugal?
So I think a lot of BCom people also kind of get into a banking profile, but banking is also, I think, very a vast field. Retail banking, corporate banking. There are a lot of streams within that also. So there are a lot of CAs also who get into banks. Uh, and when I said investment bank, it is completely different from a normal bank. It's basically investment banking firms are firms who basically lead a transaction, right? So say a company, say Reliance wants to sell their stake in, say, Reliance Jio. Okay, they'll kind of hire a investment banker to kind of prepare a business model for them, at what value the company should be selling at. Then they kind of manage the entire overall process of mergers and acquisitions, and probably they find the right buyers for that seller. So this is what the investment banking firm do. Okay, banks is something is like ICICI, HDFC, something like that, and a normal BCom graduate also kind of get into banking profiles as well. But within the banks also there are multiple profiles. It has to be kind of some specific question. If you have, then I can answer that.
Great. Thank you very much, Jugal. It has been very interesting to interact. So, Jugal, we have been inviting a lot of professionals on our platform. And today we've been speaking to a due diligence professional from the accounting industry, because we're trying to get people from all different industries so that students get a perspective of what exactly can be the job role and how to navigate their career. So thank you very much, Jugal, to be part of this session. And students, I hope you guys enjoyed the session, and wish you all the very best for your careers. And for to Jugal, thank you very much. And we definitely hope in future as well, if there are sessions, you will be obliged if you would be again coming to enlighten our students, and maybe we can continue the discussion. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you soon in the next session. Thank you, Jugal. Thank you, student.
Thank
All
you,
the very
Chirag.
best.
Thank you, Chirag. I hope that my insights would be helpful to the students. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.